It's SportsFeva time. King of Local Sport Quest newspapers. Peter, Swampy Masters, joined me in the studio, as he does every Thursday morning. Good morning to you, Swamp.
The King's a bit of a rich title. I certainly don't have a crown, but hey, I'll take it.
You take it. You'll take it. Well, the King died. The King of Rock and Roll died today, 35 years ago, the Elvis Presley. So I'm just throwing the King title around today.
Right, fair enough. No, but big times in local sport, Matty. If you haven't got your feel from the Olympics, we're smack bang in the middle of footy finals, and every code in Caboolture is playing some kind of finals. So you don't have to look far to get some wonderful sporting action this weekend. Unbelievable
how well all our footy codes are doing around Caboolture, and also Redcliffe as well, travelling well in AFL and rugby league. So amazing time. We'll cover off on the Olympics first, Swamp. We're both feeling the after effects, I guess, from the Olympics. It's some late nights, some early mornings for us. You probably even more so, but amazing couple of weeks.
Yeah, wonderful. That's why you come around every 4 years, and it's just an incredible sporting event, and it brings together people from all around the world and celebrates dedication, hard work, passion, and just sport in general. And we saw some wonderful finishes in those last 2 days. Usain Bolt winning the 200 metres, the Jamaicans just obliterating the full 100 metre relay, and of course Wemiran superstar Jodie Schultz picking up her first goal. The Hockeyroos defeated China 2-0 on the Friday there, so wonderful stuff.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Of course, one of the big moments that had been talked up, we talked about the pressure she was under, Sally Pearson. What an enormous effort that was from Sally, So that was my highlight of the Olympics. What about you, Swamp?
Yeah, I've got to... Can't really go too far past Sally. It was one of those ones that, she talked about it and probably put that pressure on herself. She said, I'm number one. Yep. There's no one else. If I'm racing at my best, there's no one else that can beat me in the world at the moment. And she delivered. And she delivered in spades. And up with her interview from Beijing, that moment where she was waiting after the race, and she was pointing to herself, going, "Is it me? Is it me?" And then that moment where a name flashed on the screen and she just broke down on the track, that'll stick in my mind for a few years to come.
Yeah, it was a great moment. And well done to Gavin Hunter, who we had on a couple of weeks ago, former Commonwealth Games, a bronze medalist. He said, Pearson, good thing. She'd only beat herself. She won. Tipped as the 3 out of the 4 in the 100. He was right around the mark there. He said talent was a big hope for a medal in the walk. He said Mitchell White, a big hope for a medal in the long jump. Right around the money, and he had his doubts over Stevie Hooker, and geez, Gav, he was on the money.
Yeah, there you go. You should have been listening to him if you were having a sneaky one each way there. But I think well done to all those guys in the athletics. It's certainly the tougher discipline of the big ones that we have here, and great stuff to see. Jared Talent, especially in the walk. I'm a standard at those walkers, Matty, to have it's not so much about the physical discipline for those guys as it is the mental discipline to not want to take that little extra stride that, for the whole 50 kilometres. I take my hat off. It's just incredible stuff.
Yes, amazing stuff. And on to the Paralympics now. So.
Yeah, and don't forget about that we got some really wonderful competitors from the Moreton Bay region over there in the Paralympics. 2 swimmers in Brendan Hall and Black Cochrane, both world record holders in their respective events. So make sure you tune in there, because not only are they a chance at some big gold medals, but there'll be a chance at smashing some world records as well, and both wonderful guys as well.
Can't wait for that Paralympics. Now, Swamp, we talked about local finals. There's none bigger than this Saturday night. We'll be broadcasting it here on 101.5. It's a grand final replay. It's the last 2 premiers. Caboolture and Gympie Devils do battle in a semi-final, major semi, 2 plays 3. What a game that's going to be.
Yeah, incredible that the way that the cards eventually fell at the end of the Sunshine Coast Gympie Rugby League A-grade season, and like you said, any rugby league fanatic in the region here will be salivating at the prospects of these 2 teams going hammer and tongs at one another. Of course, the result for the losing team won't end their season. They will have, it is the major semi-final, so the winner progresses through to take on Kawana next week. The loser will go through to take on the winner of the minor semi-final. But you can bet your bottom dollar that there's a bit of feeling in it. Gympie will be keen to get one back over Caboolture for the grand final last year, and look, there's plenty on the line, and likewise, Caboolture will be very keen to get their chance at Kawana in the preliminary final the week after. So just an absolutely cracking game coming up at the Snake Pit on Saturday night.
And also, with a local area in mind, the Red Rooster Cup, a big Saturday, I think it is, a doubleheader semi-final action at Kilcoy. Sudden Death, Caboolture and Maroochydore will go head-to-head, followed by the much-anticipated qualifying semi, Mary Valley take on the Kilcoy Yowies. That's going to be a big Saturday in Kilcoy as well.
Oh yeah, and of course we mustn't forget. I don't know off the top of my head who they are playing, but the Caboolture Snakes reserves, they finished top of their ladder. I believe they might have a week off this week if that's the case. But the reserves are going for their 4th straight grand final win, which is just unprecedented in the competition. So wonderful stuff there by the Snakes reserves.
Yeah, absolutely. Now on to the Dolphins. They're still playing. We're still in the. They're not finals yet, but they have wrapped up the club championship. They can't get beaten in that, so well done to the Dolphins. They look good things to be minor premiers, particularly they've sewn it up in reserve grade. They look good thing to be the minor premiers in Queensland Cup. They've probably run second in the Colts after a couple of losses on the trot there, but just an amazing season for the Dolphins so far, and we've seen them in action last Sunday. They did battle with East, of course, the East Tigers. The voice of Moreton Bay Rugby League was there, a sneaky East Tigers fan, Big Darren Robinson. He was there in his straw hat looking the part. But we've seen Joshy Hoffman, former Finn, once a Finn, always a Finn, as they say, and absolutely tore the Tigers apart.
Yeah, I saw the highlights of that game. I wasn't able to get out there myself, and he made some of those East players look like they were standing still. What looked like a gap that no one should be able to run through. He just flicked on the afterburners and off he went. And look, the Dolphins, especially in the Queensland Cup, are real specials at the moment. They just continue to roll on, and it can't be understated that the tests that they've had in the last couple of weeks, and it of course keeps on rolling. They play the 3rd place Jets this weekend. Norths at a time when they were getting their dander up, making a real push for the finals, and coming off the game against Wynnum. Of course, Redcliffe, were a real vulnerable position there, and probably didn't play as well as they would have liked, but held off the win. And of course, East Tigers are a very good side at the start of the season. Probably faded a little bit, but still definitely a threat in pushing their own finals credentials. Held them off, and it'll be interesting to see how they can keep it rolling against Ipswich this weekend, and then of course the Northern Pride to finish it off in a fortnight before finals.
That is a TV game too, Sunday Swamp. So tune in 2 o'clock on Channel 9 to see the Dolphins do battle with the Jets. And the other couple of weeks ago when I was at North, Shane Walker, the co-coach with his brother Ben, was at Bishop Park, so doing a little bit of research. So they'll be ready to play the Jets. They're a good team. They play a real attacking brand of rugby league, so watch out for them on the weekend.
And of course, Redcliffe will be without the services of Luke Capewell again. He's been retained in that Broncos side off the bench, so it's not to be understated the chopping and the changing that teams had to go throughout the season. He's such Rocky is his nickname, and he's such a key part of that Redcliffe attacking force that they have become this season. So to continue to roll on like they have without him in there is really great stuff. Of course, they did get the ample attacking talents of Josh Hoffman, but he won't be there this week, of course, being called back into the Broncos side.
The other one who come up from Colts, Zach Strasser, who actually got man of the match for the game. He did really. He's a star of the future, Strasser. We've mentioned him before. He's, I think, that would have been his 4th Queensland Cup game. Every game he's played, he's been enormous. Yeah,
it certainly looks like he's being tipped as a bit of a project by the Dolphins there for the young man. Coming straight from Colts up into the Queensland Cup side, and wonderful to see him handling it that well. I think, Bunny, that the last person that you may have said that you saw handle that transition from the Colts to the A grade, as well as that, was none other than Josh Hoffman himself. So
exactly right.
Great stuff to see the young man doing well.
Yep, no, well done to Strass. And it would be, we must mention, he's a SportsFeva favourite. We've had him on a couple of times. Liam Lummy, Georgetown, broke the long-standing, 1998, I think it was set by John Wilshire when he was playing for North, that all-conquering North team that won the premiership in 98. He broke the season record for most points in the Queensland Cup. He's on track to beat I think it's nearly 34 years that Bunny Pearce has held the club record for the Dolphins. I think he only needs, it's a handful of points from I'm not sure. And even he's a chance to break the extended, because in those days when Bunny played in 78, tries were worth only 3 points. So if we extend it out, he's looking to break, if he can get to 296 points, he'll break even the extended record as such. So he's a good thing to break that 300 mark, and that was an amazing season. A lot of old time Redcliffe Dolphins people say that record would never be broken of Bunnies, and he's right on track. And the other record he broke on the weekend was his 13th straight game that he has scored a try, at least one try or more, which is amazing. That's a Queensland Cup record. It's also tied with the NRL record that was set in 1935. So if he scores against Ipswich, it's pretty much a world record for consecutive tries.
And of course, not to forget, this is in his season that he plays 100th Queensland Cup game for the club as well. So I think we'll throw out the old book and we'll just start a new one, put a picture of Lum on the front and say this is what you need to start breaking if you want a chance. It's been a wonderful season and he's a very key part of why the Dolphins are doing so well. And look, I just hope he keeps that wonderful streak rolling with the tries.
Absolutely, and he is a chance to break the Queensland Cup record for tries. He'll need probably a couple of hat tricks to get him across the line. I think the best ever was Dan Kennedy with 34, and the best ever for Wycliffe's 33 from Aaron Barber. But don't rule him out if he can get a roll on the Lum Dog.
Yeah, not at all. And I suppose that last game against the Pride presents an opportunity. It depends how the cards fall these last couple of weeks. If the Pride perhaps don't have a lot to play for, you can bet the Redcliffe will be ready to be pretty ruthless there, so he could pick up a handful there.
Will be interesting in the next couple of weeks, particularly if they secure things against the Jets, how John Dixon, coach of the Dolphins, plays his team, whether he'll decide to give a few of those players some rest. Your Joey Bonds or even your Isaac Almaus that have played a lot of games this year, or some of those guys that have got a few niggling injuries. We see Big Paul Ivan back in the lineup this week. Whether he gives someone like Paul, whether he decides they need some match fitness, or he tries to carry him through with those niggling injuries. Interesting to see how we play it next week. But we've got to get over the Jets first, Swamp.
Of course, and that'll be a very solid test.
Yep, absolutely. It's 8:15. We've got a song, and we'll be back to preview the big clash on Saturday night. The Caboolture Snakes and the Gympie Devils. 25 minutes past 8 here on 101.5. You're listening to Sports Fever with Matthew and Swampy. That was the Rolling Stones with Sympathy for the Devil. I'll tell you what, this next guest of ours will have no sympathy for the Devils, the Gympie Devils, that is. It's the Caboolture Snakes coach, Glenn Tomlinson. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Good morning, Chook, and it's a mammoth clash coming up at the Snake Pit on Saturday night. Of course, Caboolture Snakes taking on the Gympie Devils in the major semi-final. And how are the boys feeling ahead of the Saturday night's game?
Yeah, we got everything to play for. The last few weeks we've been not at our best. We've been off song a little bit there, so we've got a big game in front of us this weekend.
What do you put that down to, Chook, being off your game the last couple of weeks?
Honestly, it's a mental thing, but the competition structure hasn't helped it with the breaks and teams throwing buys out there. You know, we're turning up to play one game over a weekend. There's no support. There's no atmosphere. It's tough to get the boys in the right frame of mind when it's not real enjoyable for them. You know, that's probably the word. It's not enjoyable at the moment for them.
It seems to be the bane of, regardless of what footy code you're playing at the moment, teams losing a lot of guys to work and that are leaving sort of for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. How's that hit the Snakes?
Yeah, we've lost a couple. We've lost a couple to work. Dean Lou's gone. He's one of the main ones that's gone, but we've lost a couple of reserve graders as well that's gone, who sort of keep the pressure on the boys. So that doesn't help. But we've had a bad run of injuries with Clinton Wallace, Nick Taylor, Rowdy, Ryan Shepherd's been struggling. So we're sort of a bit short on numbers. Cody Griggs is another one who's just come back from injury. So hopefully it would have been nice to have him back for this week. But, yeah, we'll have a couple of them back anyway.
Which are those ones that are likely to be back on deck and which ones are still in doubt?
Nick and Clint are definitely out. They won't be available. Hopefully Cody played last week and Rory McLeod played last week, so that should pull them up. If they pull through all right, they couldn't make train through work on Tuesday, so we'll just have to see. And hopefully Chris Bosso ain't too far off from a return.
Now, Gympie seem to have really hit their stride, Chook, in the last couple of weeks, and no more so than they absolutely smashed Noosa last week, 44-0. The boys certainly won't have any trouble getting up in terms of the competition for this game. It's going to be a real test on the park for them.
Yeah, for sure. You know, like over the last few weeks when I've spoke to them and that, they've always come back saying, we're on our day and we get the boys back, we'll beat anyone. So, the proof will be in the pudding this weekend. You know, I'm sort of understand that you can't just switch on. You can't just turn up and things fall into place. It comes through a bit of hard work and perseverance. So hopefully, we've done the hard work in the last 2 weeks. Hopefully, it'll just sort of drop into place in the next coming weeks for the finals.
And one thing that will certainly help on Saturday night is a big vocal home crowd, and we'd like to put a call to arms out to everyone listening to get down the Snake Pit, because a big home crowd certainly makes a difference, doesn't it, Chuck?
Oh, for sure, and we haven't had one this year. We haven't had a decent big game. Kiwana got washed out. Gympie game there was a forfeit in there, and mate, we just haven't had the games there like we had in previous years to get these big crowds. But this weekend, Saturday night in particular, would be nice to see a few there and get behind the boys. That's for sure.
Yeah, there is fine weather predicted. You might want to throw a jumper on, but nevertheless, it's a wonderful night of rugby league when the Snakes are firing up the Snake Pit. Chook, we wish you the best of luck. We'll be there to call the game against the Devils, and hopefully with a big Caboolture crowd cheering the boys home. Best of luck for Saturday night.
Yeah, thank you. And the under-18s are playing there as well, so the under-18s have got a home draw in their final as well, so there's 2 Caboolture teams in there on Saturday night, so it'd be nice for everyone to get behind them and watch both teams come away with a win.
Get there and see some great rugby league. We look forward to it, Chuck, and no doubt we'll see you there on Saturday night.
No problem, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See ya.
Glenn Chuck Tomlinson, the coach of the Caboolture Snakes rugby league team, the defending premiers. I'm excited, Swamp.
Oh, I didn't tip it. I tipped against them at the start of the year. Was my first folly this year, but they've done really well, and it can't be understated the effect that dodgy schedule's had on them. They've not had a lot of home games. Their home ground was out of action at the start of the year. When they've had them, they've been rained out. They've had big crunch clashes in the middle of the season, which would really get you fired up, sort of through those lulls in the middle, washed out or moved or something like that. So it's been a tough run in terms of just the scheduling to get them up every week and to finish in second spot and well clear of anyone in third as well was a really big effort from Chook, and hopefully with some regular footy under their belts. They had the last 2 weeks has been fine, and some regular finals footy they'll lift, and we'll see a Caboolture team in the grand final again. But it can't be understated, Matty. Get on down there on Saturday night and give the boys a cheer. They'll very much appreciate a parochial noise coming from the Snake Pit.
You've got 3 options, as I said, Swamp. You get to the Snake. Well, if you get to the Snake Pit, take the Walkman or the old transistor radio and tune in. If you can't make it, make sure you tune in to 101.5. That's only 2 options, but that's all there is. There's no other options.
No, that's
you
it.
You must go, and if you don't, tune in. I don't care if you go to the movies, to the theatre, orchestra, take the little Walkman and listen in, because it's a huge clash.
Big clash, and it's going to be some absolutely wonderful football on display as well. These are 2 top-class teams that will be out there competing on Saturday night, and you'll have a really great show will be put on the field.
Now, I'll tell you now, last time we went to Bribey, we called the game. You rocked up in shorts. Don't do that at the Snake Pit. You'll be very cold, and you're not well at the moment. We don't want you getting a chill.
Look, it's Bribey. It's an island. I was feeling tropical.
You were looking the part. I don't think the legs had seen the sun for a while, though, judging by them. So make sure you get the jeans on Saturday night, Swamp, and we'll be there calling it with the voice of Moreton Bay Rugby League, Darren Robinson. 27 to 9 here on 101.5. You're listening to Sports Fever with Matthew and Swampy. It's time for our Over the Moon segment, NRL tips with Shane Moon. And Mooney, you're on fire. You're the Canterbury Bulldogs of the tipping world at the moment, mate. You're winning heaps in a row.
Oh, mate, I just can't believe it. The red carpet there, and they've got signs everywhere. Go Shane down the sports club, mate. Kill's got it. It looks like the Shane Moon Sports Club at the moment.
It does. I've heard the word is that they are going to change the name to the Mooney Sports Club.
Oh, mate, Over the Moon's on fire at the moment. I told you at the start of the year, mate, I was just a good player out of form, that was all.
You told us we doubted you, but you've proved us wrong. Well, dear oh dear, it's unbelievable. You knocked over, who was it last week? Valerie.
You knocked over Valerie last week, and the tips that got you over the line, Mooney. The Tigers beat the Dragons, and Wayne Bennett's
going to happen.
Wayne Bennett's fast improving Knights did the number. Oh, sorry, no, Valerie got you there. The Bulldogs got over the Broncos, who look, mate, must have given you a few heart attacks there early. The Broncos in good form, but a bit of Benny Barber brilliance got the Bulldogs over the line, and that delivered you the win at 5 tips to 4, Mooney. So just by a whisker.
Mate, he's going to get the Dally-M nut, Vernie Barber. He's an awesome player. How much longer are they going to keep him out of the Queensland team? He's on fire. He's just proven himself game in, game out to be a champion, isn't he?
He's an unbelievable talent, and a very talented family, of course. The Barber brothers. We've seen Aaron at Redcliffe for a couple of years there too. I believe his younger brother might be in the Eels system, Mooney.
Oh, mate, I certainly hope so. We could do with someone like Ben there, eh? Yeah, how good's that?
He'd be handy. So anyway, that's a name to watch out for in the future. But on to this week's tips, Mooney, and who we got this week, Swampy?
We have Ruth from Caboolture, Mooney, and she's a Mad Rabbits fan. There are a few of them coming out of the woodwork at the moment.
Where have they? They've all been hiding for years, haven't they? Since 1989, all the Rabbits fans.
Absolutely. Well, back in 1960, I think, when they beat the Tigers, that was about the last time you've seen a Rabbits fan.
That's it. And then when they were out of the comp, they all went marching there for a while, but otherwise you don't see them. So sorry to Ruth there, the Mad Rabbits fan, but unbelievable. Let's have a look at this week's tips. The Broncos take on the Storm on Friday night.
Mate, Broncos are so out of form at the moment. Melbourne's just back into the season. This is the champagne part of the season. I think Melbourne's going to roll the Broncos. I just don't think the Broncos have got it to finish the year off. They'll drop out of the 8. Definitely next week, I would suggest they'll be on the tightrope this week with a loss to Melbourne.
A team playing with not a lot of confidence at the moment. The Broncos, the Bulldogs take on the West Tigers. Will their run continue?
Mate, this is the battle of the hookers, isn't it? I think it's going to go right down the line. This is going to be a tough game. The forwards, mate, those kids are going to be a tough battle. But I can't jump off the Bulldogs well. I hate to say it. I think they're, at the moment, the shining lights of the competition. And I think in the way they're playing at the moment, they're locked up one of the grand final spots for certain, I'd say.
The Doggies, and an extra tip there from Mooney's, giving us the grand finalist. Jeez, you look after us here, Mooney. Now you're in form. The Raiders take on the Roosters.
Oh, mate, Roosters up and down, Canberra up and down. Canberra's had a few good wins at home. They're a different side. I think East travelling down there are going to struggle. I think Canberra at home.
Canberra. The Sharks take on the Rabbits.
Another side out of form, mate. I was riding the Sharks early in the year. They were doing really well, but they've let me down the last few weeks. With Inglis back, mate, the great Inglis, I think Souths are in a purple patch. Another team really needing to win to stay in that top 4 spots. I'm going to go Souths at home with Inglis back, mate. On the
South bandwagon, the Titans take on the Eels. Your two favourite teams, Mooney.
Yeah, mate, I know. This has been really, really tough to make this decision. Titans still with a shaky hold in the top 8. They're on opportunity there in Para with a shaky hold on the wooden spoon. But I believe Penrith's going to get smashed by the Warriors, and I think Titans are going to beat Para. At home, that's the only swing that's swayed me here, mate.
There you go. So, and you're tipping the Warriors to smash the Panthers, so we'll tick that one off.
Absolutely.
The Eagles take on the Newcastle Knights.
Mate, Manly at home, always a much stronger, potent side, and it's a good Parramatta boy. Should never tip the silver spooners, but mate, this is a battle of attrition. Run home. I'm going to stay with Manly at home against the Knights, mate.
The Manly at home, and then the final Monday night game, the Dragons take on the Cowboys.
Oh, mate, Cowboys have been purple patch. Been playing good footy. Dragons have been toughing it out. They've struggled, just got over the line on a few occasions. Mate, I think home ground advantage. Cowboys travelling an awful long way. I think Dragons at home, mate.
Dragons at home. How many different, Swamp?
It's going to be a very interesting week here this week, Mooney. The only tip that we've got that is the same is the Rabbits. Of course, Ruth tipped her beloved Rabbitohs, but every single other tip is different. So Ruth's gone the Broncos, the Tigers, the Roosters, the Eels, the Panthers, the Knights, and the Cowboys. So there's 7 games that are going to decide who wins this week.
Well, this is open this weekend, mate. This is going to be a good... We're going to ride this all the way to Monday night, I'd suggest.
I'm looking forward to it. Before we let you go, Mooney, we've been talking up the big clash on Saturday night. Have we got a tip from you? Who do you like, the Devils or the Snakes?
No, mate, definitely the Snakes to go all the way again, two in a row, I would suggest. I think back end of the season, you've got a super coach there in Chook. I think he's going to be able to coach these guys and give them some really good direction and get them across the line this weekend. And then don't forget the following weekend, hopefully 101.5 will be doing a live call-up at the battle of the top end, the Kawana and Caboolture. I reckon Caboolture easy this week. That'll be tough next week.
Fantastic. Can't wait for it, Mooney. Thanks very much this morning. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks,
cheers, mate.
And go Titans.
Good on you, Mooney.
Cheers, Mooney.
All right, 19 minutes to 9 here on 101.5. You listen to SportsFeva with Matthew and Swampy. We heard from Caboolture Snakes coach Chuck Tomlinson about the Snakes' chances on Saturday night. Time for a right reply now from the player coach of the Gympie Devils. He joins us on the line now. Chris Carlin, good morning to you.
Good morning, how are you?
Yeah, we're very good here, Chris, and we're very much looking forward to Saturday night. It's going to be a wonderful game of rugby league at Centenary Lakes. Big win from your boys last weekend. Blew Noosa off the park. I imagine that you're full of confidence coming down here on Saturday night.
Yeah, definitely. That was a good win. Probably one of the best games we've played all year, and we're starting to peak at the right end of the year.
It was a bit of a slower start to the season, of course, for the Devils, Chris. You know, guys took it right to the grand final last year and pushed Caboolture almost all the way in that grand final game. But things started off a little bit slow. What's been the key to get the boys sort of ticking along nicely at this time of the year?
It's probably kind of a little bit not my fault, but I kind of deliberately just kind of started the year slow, didn't want to get the boys too excited and get into it, because just want to see them peaking at this time of the year, you know, and everyone's starting to get on board with that now, and their last few games they've been getting better and better, and that's what we're hoping to do.
Now, Gympie is a team that's had a lot of trouble, or for lack of a better word, with work commitments, players not being able to play every week. How's the lineup looking for this Saturday? Will you be at full strength?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. We are at full strength this week. We've only got Riley, he's kind of our key forward for us. He's done his knee on the weekend, so he won't be playing. But apart from that, we've got a full strength side.
We've seen Adam Starr in recent years, former NRL player and Redcliffe Dolphins legend. Is he still going around this weekend, Chris?
Yeah. Starr, he's a freak of a man, you know, he's 38 or 39, and he's been playing, you know, I've got to tell him to get off the field most of the time because I don't want to wear the big fella out, but, you know, he'll pump out 80 minutes for me at front row, probably this weekend, you know, and at his age, or at any age, 80 minutes is a fair effort at front row, and, you know, the last few weeks he's just been outstanding, and hope to see more this weekend from him.
He must hold some type of record, Chris. I think he's pretty much retired every year since 2006.
Yeah, well, I did get his boots and his shoulder pads out of the bin last year, because I thought, I'll talk him round again, and I'm glad I did. You know, at the start of the year, I talked him into just the one game to help me out when we had a few injuries, and here he is, hasn't missed a game since.
You knew if he got that sniff, he'd be hard to stop again. Take us through your own career, Chris. I know you're a Gympie junior, but you worked your way up. You had a fairly successful NRL career yourself with the Broncos, Titans and Raiders.
Yeah, I had a pretty good career. I was happy with the way things kind of turned out. I just had a few injuries at bad times, you know, that ended up coming to cost me, you know. So, but still, you know, I was pretty happy. I played, I think, nearly 60 NRL games, so I was pretty happy with that.
Now, it's always going to be a tough task to stop the defending premiers, no matter when you're playing them, Chris. But what's going to be the key to getting one over Caboolture this week and earning a crack at Kawana in a fortnight's time?
I think definitely if I look at through the sides we played this year, I think Caboolture is probably the pick of a sides that we come up against, and I think the reason for that is we usually dominate other forward packs, and Caboolture's the only real forward pack that gives us a good kind of test of our own forwards, because that's our strength, and Caboolture's definitely got a good pack, and they've also got some good outside backs and halves, so I think it's for us to get over them this weekend, we've just got to dominate them through the middle, and you know, that's the plan. Hopefully we've got pretty much a full strength forward to start the game, and some pretty handy ones coming off the bench too, so hopefully we can just give it to them for the whole 80 and get over the top of them.
It's really interesting to hear that, Chris, and it's not the first time that I've heard Caboolture picked as the team to beat in the competition, despite Kawana sitting on top for almost the entire year. What is it about Kawana that just doesn't seem to firm them as contenders for the rest of the competition?
I still think they're definitely a very good side. Like, obviously, to be on top of the table, they must be doing something right, you know. But I just feel as if the games we've played against Caboolture this year and last year, you know, they've still got a similar side, and I just feel their forward pack is just some of the forwards in particular are just outstanding, you know, and really that's where they're getting their go forward from, and that's the catalyst to their game. And I just feel that their pack is just a lot better than Kawana's.
Well, we look forward to this Saturday night. The Gympie Devils take on the Caboolture Snakes. It's a replay of last year's grand final. It's the last two premiership winners. It's going to be a huge clash. We'll be calling it on the night, so we'll come and say good day to you, Chris, and we can't wait for Saturday night. We'll see you there.
Yeah, no worries.
Good on you, Chris.
Cheers, Chris.
Thank you.
Chris Kaler, the player coach for the Gympie Devils, and very talented player, Swamp. Chris Kaler, I remember him coming through the Broncos system, and then he spent some time at the Titans and Raiders, and was meant to sign, had 2 cracks at Redcliffe, and then had suffered 2 serious injuries, unfortunately. So, but a very talented player and a very talented full-pack, that Gympie Devils team.
I'll tell you what, Matty, just speaking to Chris and Chook in the last 50-odd minutes or so, it's just washed away my Olympic hangover. It's gone. I am pumped up and so excited for this game on Saturday night. It's going to be an absolutely wonderful clash between the two sides, and going to be some really high-quality rugby league being played. I can't wait.
I really stress to people, cancel whatever you're doing Saturday night and get to the Snake Pit. It will be quality rugby league. Don't worry about the Saturday night games in the NRL. The Raiders, this will be better than any of these. This will be top quality local rugby league. Get out to the Snake Pit, take the Walkman, and listen to 101.5.
Fantastic night out.
That's it. We'll play a quick song. We'll be back to talk some soccer. 10 to 9 here on 101.5. You're listening to SportsFeva with Matthew and Swampy. Time now to talk some Brisbane Raw news, and joining us on the line is a good friend of the show, Dan Lado. How are you?
Not bad, gents. Yourselves?
Yeah, we're very good here, Dan, and very excited ahead of tonight's big clash out at AJ Kelly Park. Of course, the annual pre-season clash between the Brisbane Raw and the Peninsula Power. It's always a wonderful to have the boys out of Redcliffe. Are they looking forward to the clash, Dan?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think it's been proven over the course of the pre-seasons that we've been out there that it's always a tough game, and you know the boys got a bit of run under their belts now, so they've been looking to ramp up the progress, and a game against the current BPL leaders is probably worthwhile as well.
Now, of course, before we get to tonight's game, we might just talk a little bit about the off-season movements at the Raw. Bit of a change at the top there, of course, with Ange Postecoglou heading down to the Melbourne Victory, but long-time assistant Rado taking over. How's things been in the first couple of months with Rado taking the helm at the Raw there, Dan?
Yeah, I think the transition's been pretty good, actually. They're the boys have adapted pretty well. I mean, the general philosophy will stay the same. There'll be a lot of quick ball movement, looking to get forward pretty quickly. Just a few tweaks here and there that Rado has in mind, but everything's progressing pretty much as you'd hope at this stage, back to back, and looking to be as competitive as possible again this season.
Now, it's always a bumper clash out at AJ Kelly Park, and lots of local juniors there to cheer on the home side and see the Raw boys. It's positioned really, really well at the moment. Of course, the Raw, the defending A-League champions, but the Peninsula Power travelling very, very well in the Brisbane Premier League up until, I think, last night. Actually sat on top of the Brisbane Premier League ladder and have had a wonderful season under their 2 new player coaches in Warren Moon and Scott McNichol. It should be some really quality football on display out there tonight, Dan.
Yeah, you hope so. I mean, like I said, the squads have kind of been mixed up for these games, but having a look at what Rado's got in mind for tonight, we'll have quite a strong selection out on the park there, and obviously the guys out at Peninsula are doing a fantastic job as well, leading into the pointy end of the season for them. So, we get genuinely excited about this. It's a fantastic opportunity to go out, not just play football, but also engage with the community and kind of let them know that we're about heading into our season as well.
And I can't speak highly enough of the work the Royal Boys do put in with the local football community out there. They're incredibly generous with their time, both before and after the game. So if the kids are looking to get on down there and shake a hand or get an autograph, I encourage you, because the Royal Boys are fantastic. Now, I put this question to the Raw coach, Warren Moon, earlier in the week, and he had a bit of a chuckle after he said it. I wanted to know how he was going to possibly stop leading goal scorer Besart Berisha. Is the big Albanian going to be unleashed tonight at AJ Kelly Park?
I believe he's in the mix. They were going to have a look and see how everyone pulled up after training yesterday morning. But I'm pretty sure he's in the mix to get another start tonight. So, look, he's obviously a key focal point for us. But it's the delivery of the ball into him, which can kind of make his job a little easier at times as well. So, we'll be looking to see another marked improvement out of the boys tonight for sure.
Should be an absolutely bumper clash at AJ Kelly Park. I believe gates open at 4:30pm and the main game kicks off at 7:15pm. Free entry for all spectators who are keen to get on down there. Dan, it's going to be an absolutely wonderful night, and as much as we do love the Roar, we like the Peninsula Power better, so hopefully we can get one back over the Roar boys. I think 2009 was the last time we did, so it should be an absolutely fantastic game.
Will be, boys. We'll be. Look forward to it, and thanks for your support of it.
Thanks very much, Dan. Cheers.
Dan Lato, media manager at the Brisbane Roar. That'll be a cracker game tonight.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. The Brisbane Premier League, of course, one of the top-level leagues in soccer in Queensland, and the Peninsula Power, one of the best teams in that competition this year. And we had some midweek fixtures during the week that brought all teams up to the same amount of games played, and Peninsula just slipped off that top spot. They did share it with Wolves FC, but are still right in that mix this year for to take out the Premier League title, and it could come down to a final round clash with the Wolves to see if they will take out the title there. Interesting fact, Matty, the last time that the Peninsula beat the Brisbane Roar, 2009, was also the last time that Peninsula actually won the Brisbane Premier League. So
that's a good sign.
Signs, patterns I'm noticing.
That's
it. Could be a big clash, but just running through the possible starting 11 that the Raw are sending out, it's going to be a tough task, of course, at the back. Michael, just Theo now, which I don't know why you dropped Theoklitos. I thought that was a wonderful name, but of course the man in the goal there. The captain, Matt Smith, Shane Stefanuto, Matt German, Ivan Franchik, Eric Partalou, Besart Berisha, the big Albanian, unstoppable in front of goal, Massimo Madoka, Ben Halloran, Nick Fitzgerald, and George Lambarderis. So that's the possible starting 11, so plenty of A-League or top-level A-League talent going to be out there at AJ Kelly Park.
You just wanted to show off for some of those pronunciations, didn't you? You've been practising them all week, and you said,
in front of the mirror.
Just throw these out like it's no big deal. It was an enormous effort. You've nailed it. You might get a job on SBS yet, Swamp. Now, I know Caboolture Lions AFL.
Yes, and look, must make a mention of the Lions. They got dusted by Redcliffe last week. I know you'll be happy with that, but unfortunate for us Caboolture locals, some inaccuracy in front of goal cost them. I think
I'm half there, Swamp. I'm a Caboolture boy, born and bred. Just live on the pitch.
Look, you've got to if they're up against each other, you can't sit on that fence. You've got to pick a side.
They should play for the Matthew Duncan Cup.
I think they already paid for the Herald Cup.
Yeah, well, the Matthew Duncan Herald Cup.
Perhaps we could get a bust of you made up, and we could present that to the winner.
That might be all right. Make it happen, Swamp.
The Lions did get a touch-up from Redcliffe for the second week in a row last week, though. I think their first 7 shots at goal were behind, so it made it pretty tough to come back from that, which means Redcliffe progress through to face Nambour, whereas the Lions now must face Logan City and have elimination games for the rest of the season. They will host the next game, though, at Alexander Bar Oval. So get on down there on Saturday. Now, this won't interfere with Saturday night because the Lions are kicking off at an earlier time of 1:30pm.
Perfect.
So make sure you get on down there.
Perfect.
The normal games start at 2:15, so any diehard fans out there, set your alarm 45 minutes earlier. 1:30pm, the Caboolture Lions take on Logan City, and they'll be looking to earn a chance to progress through, and if they win, they'll play the loser out of Nambour and Redcliffe the week after. So we could see Caboolture take on Redcliffe potentially for a third time in 4 weeks. So local derbies just all over the place in the AFL Division 3.
Can't wait. Let's plan people's weekend. Tonight, go and see the Roar and the Power.
AJ Kelly Park, 7:15pm.
Friday night, the Broncos.
A
couple of Joshy Hoffman, Luke Catewell in that side. Go and watch that. Saturday, well, you've got some options. You can go watch the Caboolture Lions. You can go watch Caboolture Seagrave, the Red Rooster Cup, some great games up at Kilcoy on Saturday afternoon.
And if you happen to be up on the Sunshine Coast, Caboolture Rugby Union, their A grade is taking on Caloundra at Lighthouse Park at Caloundra in the first week of their finals campaign as well. Wonderful stuff there for the Union this year as well.
They've been on fire. All Moreton Bay teams have been on fire. Don't forget, Saturday night, get to the Snake Pit and listen to our call. That's on Saturday night. And then Sunday, you can rest. And then, if you're keen, you can go to Ipswich or just turn on Channel 9 at 2 and watch the Redcliffe Dolphins.
And Caboolture boy, Big Paul Ivan, making his comeback this week too. So
Big Paul will be back.
Fantastic. That's it. Weekend plan.
Weekend plan.
We should charge a fee for that.
We should. Weekend planners here at SportsFeva. Now, just some quick news. I know we've got a lot of NBA fans like ourselves out here. Some huge signing news from my Lakers. Big Dwight Howard. And a couple of weeks ago, I don't think we've discussed it also, one of the great point guards of all time, the veteran, Steve Nash. So Dwight Howard and Steve Nash in the purple and gold of the Lakers next year.
Yeah, we wanted to apologise to SportsFeva fans in advance. And Matty, from October 31st, there's going to be plenty of sniping back and forth. Of course, my Miami Heat picked up the three-point sharpshooter, Ray Allen from Boston, in the off-season as well to add to their already formidable roster. And the Lakers with some wonderful signings there as well. So it's going to be a great NBA season coming up.
And we heard who big Andre Grimo's jumping on this year.
I believe it's the Brooklyn Nets, but that may have been conditional on landing Dwight Howard. We must send a quick commiserations to him this morning, Arsenal losing Robin Van Persie in the Premier League.
Yeah, he's hurting at the moment. Unbelievable. That's all we've got for the SportsFeva this weekend. Good luck to all Moreton Bay teams. Thank you, Swampy. We'll be back again next Thursday. Stand by now for the local news.